Well, good morning, everybody. It's still pretty dark out here. The camera really makes it look like it's pretty light out, but it's foggy and hazy this morning. You can't see anything past the trees here. It's cool. It's damp a little bit. It's absolutely beautiful weather to work in and stuff. But we're down here by cabin 1 today. I want to bring you guys up to speed. It's Tuesday morning, so quite a bit has happened since I last talked to you as far as, getting some things done. First off, I don't think I actually finished up showing you what went on with milling that oak. I got some fantastic boards out of it. I was really happy with it. So I've got about 310 1x6s now. So that should be plenty. Even cutting out some of the rotted portions of it and things like that. I think that's going to be plenty to get cabins 1, 2, and 3 done with flooring. So that can now sit there and dry, and hopefully it doesn't crack to pieces and stuff. So fingers crossed, we're gonna look forward to that. So let me get you down here to cabin 1. Cabin 1 is generally where I've been spending most of my time. It's so quiet out here. It's where I've been spending most of my time. And like I said, we've gotten quite a few things done. Let me kind of bring you up to speed. So first things first here, as we come inside the cabin 1 here, I no longer have to run an extension for my little light project there, because the ceiling and the lighting is now finished. So the ceiling, the sheeting we have on the ceiling is really, it's just kind of like a paneling. I mean, it's relatively thin. That's what I'm trying to say. And it comes in, I believe there are 3-inch wide planks. But it looks, this is basically the same stuff we used inside of the bus. Very easy to work with. Now this is pine. The stuff we have in the bus is cedar, but this will be fine to stain or paint or whatever Rebecca's going to do down here with this. But it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm super happy with it. And it has turned out great. But that took a couple days just to do that, just simply because it's up, on the ladder, up and down, and they're 8-foot sections. So each piece, it just took a while to kind of get that done. Try and dim this down a bit, see if that helps out. Not really. So these lights here are dimmable. There are 4 of them. And the center hole here, that's where the ceiling fan is going to go. And then you eagle eye watchers there, saw cord hanging down there. That's wire. That's a 14-2. That's actually for the fire alarm. So fire alarm's going to go there. So what I was working on yesterday, trying to bump this back up. What I was working on yesterday, which it's funny, because as I was sitting there, thinking about the day and what I'm going to do, the next day. So this is what the windows have looked like here inside, the cabins, all unfinished. This is, I've got wires behind this one and things like that, but completely unfinished. And, again, it's one of those things that just has to be knocked off the list. So yesterday, I finished this window. And it turned out absolutely fantastic. I am super happy with it. This is done, like finished. So I've got, little reveals and stuff like that pop out. Everything that went around, posts and everything, pretty tight tolerances, worked out well. And I just really have a simple, like 1.5 inch frame around it, and it turned out, I love it, absolutely spectacular for somebody who, I don't know, I'm just putzing around with it, and it looks fantastic. So let me tell you the best part of all this. You know, I always have a saying, and you know, if you don't have time to do it right, you better have time to do it over. Well, the inside, now this just goes to show you how long it's been since I've done, you know, processes for things. So the inside of the cabin, all of these boards are planed on this side. So it's a relatively smooth board. So you can see, let's see here, let me move this. You can see boards like this here that were planed, it had a little bit of a hump to it where the planer didn't hit the marks on each side. So that's a good example of, you know, a board that I just planed the high part off of it, but I think it looks great. I mean, it adds definitely some, you know, some rustic appearance to it. And then here on this board, you can see obvious tonal difference between these two. It's all the same stain that's on here, but this board, for whatever reason, was put on backwards. So the plain side is on the other side. So I totally screwed that up. But that's the difference in a plain board versus a non-plain board when you put stain on it. So all the inside boards need to be planed, because if the cabin was this color, it would be super dark, and it's not really the kind of look we're going for. And that color also matches all of the 4x4s and 2x4s, because all of these were never planed. So they're a bit darker, but it stands out good as contrast against that lighter brown. So all of these boards in here need to be planed. Well, they're not. And so I need to take this apart and run them through a planer and put it back together. And then I'm going to start work on this window over here. So that's first thing on the agenda this morning, is get these through a planer and reassemble. As much of a pain as that's going to be, that's just how it is. So it is still, like I said, it is still pretty dark out there, and I got to finish my coffee this morning. I want to come down. At least the lighting here inside the cabin is more dramatic, I guess, when, you know, it obviously is a little darker inside here. But working on the windows today. Let's get it. All right, well, that took about 45 minutes for me to get all of those out of there. So you saw me fighting with some of the nails. Of course, I obviously have to get the nails out, even the ones that kind of broke off. I need to at least drive them down below where I'm going to be planing so it doesn't nick a tooth in the planer. So yeah, we're going to get these pieces over to the planer, clean them up a bit, and then just reinstall. So I kind of fretted about this all morning. It's going to take all day to do this, but that was relatively quick and painless. So yeah, let's get it done. It may have taken 45 minutes to get all that off there, but it only took about 10 minutes to get it back up there, if that. So it looks much better. I'm super happy with it. I really can't emphasize enough about how much I like it. So it looks great. And yeah, so that having those boards planed now will now match the staining here once that all gets done. And then obviously the frame is something that I would imagine is going to be a different color or different stain of some sort. So we'll figure it out. So now I have to get over here, okay? Now that I have a good idea of what I want to do here from this window, I have to apply it to this one over here. A little more complicated in the sense that I've got this board, this first board that's got to go on here, has got to be able to have that switch box installed on it. So it's just really going to be a hole in it, in the back of it. But I got to figure out, I guess I'm going to have to take that switch box apart and pull the wires out of it because behind this there's actually 3 smaller holes where the wire is coming out of it. So I might do the same thing, but it just has to have enough substance behind it to where I can screw that box into the board and it be secure. So let's figure it out. Well, that adds a beautiful little round over on the front of this sill. Light sanding to get rid of a little bit of the burr. That's fantastic. Working on this first board here for quite some time now, and this was really going to be the time consuming part of this whole side. I think it was really getting the power kind of lined up for this. So I just finished kind of cinching those wires down inside there. Now the back side of it there, I have two. They're kind of square holes because, you know, I cut them out with a circle, but then I've got the, you know, the wire holders that are there. They're not exactly round at all, so they've got to fit back in those holes, and because they're square now, it sits back in there nice. I'll just make sure this is nice and level, and because of the way I cut them out, I've got space now, or I can put 4 screws in there to hold that whole box in there really securely, so that's not going to be an issue at all. So let's get on to it. All right, gang, I just drove my last nail into the bottom boards here that kind of cover everything up, and everything went off great. So it's a nice touch here. Again, working around some of the nailers and stuff here. Pretty good tolerances around this 45 piece here, and then up along the top. Looks fantastic. The thing that kind of slowed me down a little bit, of course, not sure if they're showing up with the glare behind you, getting the switch box here kind of hooked back up. So power's back on. This is the outside lights, porch lights, and then this is the interior. This is dimmable for the inside lights. But yeah, that, I mean, just was just another step I had to add on. So altogether, I got to tell you, 99%, I believe, of all of the woodworking part of cabin 1 is done now. I have to do the bathroom. I've got to put Durock up there, and there's some other stuff that's going to go below here and around the backside, as well as the wall behind the toilet. But that's it. As far as as I look around here, of course, the sink, you're going to have to cover that up with the vanity and whatnot. But and then the floor. So cabin 1 is really in a good place right now. I'm super happy with how these windows turned out. And so far, it looks like I haven't really had any issues that I've had to reconfigure, like running electrical in a different place or something like that. So it's all going very well. Very happy with that. Now, what's next? And it's going to be cabin 3. I mean, full bore cabin 3, bringing it up to the level of cabin 1. And there are quite a few things as I look at cabin 3 compared to cabin 1. I mean, I don't even have the front door height cut out for that one yet. So, got to take a couple weeks back to go and see the level of what cabin 3 is at. So, but that being said, I'm going to grab just about everything out of cabin 1 that I've been using on just about a daily basis, moving on up to cabin 3, clean up down here. I've got quite a mess down here with lumber, just scraps and everything like that. So that's got to get over to the burn pile. And then depending on what time of day it is, you know, maybe I'll just grab some low-hanging fruit off of cabin 3, see what I can quick tackle right quick, and then come at it full bore this week and really start making some good progress. And yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice to do. So let me get to cleaning up here, and we'll see where we end up. Well, guys, the fact that I can't put my arms out in here in cabin 3 without hitting insulation pretty much made this decision to go ahead and get the insulation up in there next, just so I can have room inside the cabin here to start really getting to work and stuff. So it's only about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm all sweaty and sticky and stuff. So rather than get that stuff all over me, I'll be out here early tomorrow morning, starting to get this insulation up there. I should be able to get the ceiling in here as well as below the cabin done tomorrow before lunch. It doesn't really take that long. It's just one of those things that's messy, and yeah, that's just how it is. So we'll kind of do that in the morning. So I did get a delivery today. I had toilets delivered, but they arrived in about 1,000 pieces. So I'm actually going to take the time right now to run them back to UPS and have them sent back. And, you know, we'll try again at some other point, but it's always funny when UPS guy drops things off and it sounds like a broken toilet in there, just shattered pieces rattling around. It's one of those things where it's like, I know he probably has to drop it off, like, unless I tell him to take it back, but I wasn't up there to greet him. And yeah, well, he left me 2 broken toilets, so that's how that is. So yeah, as I stand here in cabin 3, there is quite a bit of work to do compared to cabin 1. It's nice to be down in cabin 1 and see kind of everything really kind of finished. But even just behind me here, this bathroom wall, this is all going to be, you know, finished this week. Yeah, there's just a lot to be done down here. Excuse me. So yeah, I've got just about everything moved up here, and tomorrow morning we're gonna hit the ground running down here at cabin 3, and we'll make it happen. So I'll film when I can, but I know I need to move on. I need to move quickly and everything like that. You probably noticed today a lot of this was filmed at 10 times speed. I really needed to just kind of get through some stuff, and I know it's not great entertainment or, you know, watching me go around like you know, fast forward motion, but you know, it is what it is. I have to keep moving forward at a good clip. So we'll be down here tomorrow, and that's it for today, guys. We'll see you on the next one. As I'm back here just up at the shed, here is a little bonus. I want to show you, maybe you could hear how these toilets sound. I don't think it's supposed to sound like that, so these have got to go back. All right, guys, we'll see you.